Hello students, how are you all? Today we are going to discuss altogether a different variety type of product, which is nothing but the service. In recent past, if you observe the situations, you will find so many job opportunities in the services sector. As per one statistics information, throughout the world, if you see the latest information, almost 70% of the jobs one can find in the service sectors, like IT sector is there. Now, before understanding what do you mean by all these things, we have to understand about what do you mean a service. Generally, a service means an activity or performance of a task with a commercial purpose. So you go to a doctor and he actually do some kind of activities, he gives treatment, it comes under service. You go to a barber shop and the operations, the activities whatever performed by that worker comes under service. The police personnel renders services for the safety and security of the public. The army defends the nation. So like that, if you consider the services sectors becoming more prominent, more valuable. So any activity most of the times which is performed with a commercial purpose is known as the service. So what are the general examples here? Consulting, accounting, transportation, cleaning, hospitality, traveling, maintenance, all this falls under services only. Now as far as characteristics are concerned, the selling of the services is altogether will have a different approach, because when a person is providing any service, nothing will be seen over there. The services are absolutely intangible, you cannot see. Only thing what you can have there, nothing but the, I mean to say, experience of the services. Hence altogether you need to approach, you need to have a different approach while you go for selling of the services. Most of the time the services are mixture type, so they are going to mix with that of the products itself. Let us go to a computer sales, or what to call a computer center, where the person is going to provide the computer, and as well as if at all any problem arises, he is going to troubleshoot that what you called that computer, what you call that is known as the services. Same way when you go to a hotel, you will order for an item, so you are going to receive that item, but how that person who is going to serve to you is nothing but falls under what you called the services. So such a way, if you think, the services are going to have a prominent importance comparatively with that of what you call the physical products, like pen, televisions, cameras, mobiles, all these things. So most of the time the services will be rendered with mixing of what you call the product itself. What are the important characteristics of the services? These are the four very very important characteristics as far as the services are concerned. The first one is the intangibility, inseparability, perishability, and as well as heterogeneity. Intangibility. What do you mean intangibility? The services cannot be touched. The services only can be felt. That means that nature is known as what we call intangibility. A pen can be touched, you can feel that. A mobile phone can be what to call put in the hand, but services cannot be you know formed into a particular shape, isn't it? Hence these kinds of nature you are calling as a intangibility. Same way, the services cannot be separated from the service provider. All the activities, all the treatment, whatever doctor is going to provide to the patient cannot be separated, cannot be stored for the future purpose, just like a what we call a physical product. Let us suppose that a pen is there. Pen can be kept somewhere. Whenever need arises, you can use that. Mobile phone, whenever need arises, you can use that. But services cannot be separated like that. So then and there itself, you need to consume the services. Such a kind of nature, character of a service is known as what is called inseparability. The perishability. So here the perishability in the sense consumption. The services immediately consumed there itself. It cannot be what you call shelved for what you call future purpose. So such a kind of nature is known as what you call the perishability of the services. The final one is called heterogeneity. Heterogeneity means variation. So every time you cannot have the same kind of treatment from the doctor. Every time you cannot have the same kind of services in any hotel. Every time you cannot have what you call the same kind of services when you go to attend any function, isn't it? So changes would be there. Such a kind of what you called changes in nature, that quality, that character is known as heterogeneity. So these are the four very, very important characteristics of the services. So like intangible in nature, inseparability in nature, perishability in nature, and as well as the heterogeneity in nature. So generally what is a service? A service is nothing but what? An activity. So as far as the types of the service markets are concerned, the first one is the institutional markets. So in these institutional markets, actually you find schools, hospitals, prisons, isn't it? These are actually going to run by based upon the donations and funds whichever provided by philanthropies. So these kinds of institutional markets, service markets provide care to the people and contribute to the welfare of the society. Same way, if you consider the one more type of the service market is nothing but the government markets. So government markets are major buyers of the services. For these kinds of service markets, funding will be done by exclusively government. That might be a state government, central government, or else any local governing body. Like police force, army, all this comes under what is called the services providing by the government. So as far as the service markets are concerned, how many types are there? Two types. One is called institutional market and one more is called the government market. So what are the strategies especially required to offer the services? So unlike the product based companies, when a company is going to provide the services, it is going to have altogether a variety kinds of strategies. Like that, if you think the first one is managing the differentiation, the second one managing the service quality, and the third one is managing the productivity. What do you know managing the differentiation? Generally the service kind of businesses are going to be excel in the market when they really provide a differentiation in their services. I mean to say here, the services of the same kind are going to be provided by many more companies, but there should be a differentiation while offering what to call the services. Otherwise the customers may not be attracting and may not be what you called coming regularly to have the services from the same organization. Generally, differentiation can be created by means of three ways. The first way is nothing but through the people. I mean to say through the service providers who are in direct contact with the customers, through the physical environment, and as well as through the process. The people should be well trained who are providing the actual services to the customers, and the environment actually where the service is being served should be attractive, and as well as the processes which are going to be adopted to provide the services should be innovative. The best example is nothing but, let us take for example the transportation businesses. And the transportation services, besides providing the what I would say basic feature of transportation, one can have what to call various facilities. So this kind of what to call differentiation truly attracts the consumers to actually have the service repeatedly from the same organization. The next one is called the service quality. Whenever the customers feels that the services whatever providing by the organization or the company quality enough, automatically they are accustomed to come regularly to have the services. So this is the one of the parameter to actually identify whether the particular company is providing quality services or not. So technically you call this one as the customer retention. So to have the more customer retention, the best thing is nothing but what you need to provide the quality kind of services. The third one is managing productivity. So here productivity means with the meager resources one should have more number of delivering of the products, which are always expensive. So here to have with the meager resources the quality kind of services, the first thing one can do is nothing but to train the employees on a particular level of technology, and as well as to make them responsible while rendering the services to the customers. So being in this way, providing the services always makes the services kind of companies will excel in the existing markets. So these are all called three variety kinds of strategies. Generally service kind of businesses will adopt. The first one is showcasing differentiation, in which they are offering the services, managing service quality, and the third one is managing the productivity. Here ends your entire fourth unit. So today what we discussed up to now, we came to know what do you mean by services kind of businesses, and what do you mean by actually service, what are the characteristics of the services, and as well as the strategies in general adopted by the service kind of businesses. So after understanding all these things, now we are stepping into the last unit of your syllabus, that is fifth unit. So marketing organization and control. What do you mean marketing organization? You all know very well that in any business or else in any company, there will be four core departments. One is called the financial department, which is responsible for mobility of the funds, controlling of the funds. The next one is called human resources department, human resources management. So here selection, recruitment of the employees, human capital management would be there. The third one is the production and operations management, or else a production and operations department, where the raw material would be converted into a wanted form. That is the final product. And the final one is called the marketing department. So here the exclusive purpose of the marketing department is nothing but to let you know the customers the availability of the product from the company. So in general, the marketing organization is nothing but the group of people who performs the marketing activities. I mean to say, letting to know the customers about the product, and applying 4Ps. What are those? Product, price, place, and as well as the promotion kind of activities. And this group of people are responsible for what you call the actual marketing operations. So you call such a kind of department as a marketing organization, which is a crucial department as far as what you call the future of the company is concerned. So let us see what do you mean by marketing organization exclusively. So marketing organization is the framework for planning and making marketing decisions that are essential to marketing success. So actually in the marketing organization, the framework is going to have about how to execute, how to improve the sales of the product, how to let to know the actual information about the product. It is a vehicle for making decision on all marketing areas like 4Ps. So in marketing organization, what are the things are going to happen? Decision making is going to happen about the 4Ps like product, price, place, and promotion. Marketing organization is a group of marketing persons working together towards the attainment of certain common objectives. So the marketing organization, who are going to be there? The marketing specialists would be there. They are congregating, they are checking out, they are framing the plans and executing the plans in order to attain the set common objectives, most probably the sales of the product. Marketing organization provides a system of relationships among various marketing functions to be performed by coordinating among marketing people. So overall, how we can understand a marketing organization? Nothing but the group of people who are expert in marketing operations, advertising and sales of the particular product. What is the need for the organization? So as we are very much aware that without the marketing department, the sales of the product are going to be not to the level of the expected. Hence, the presence and the importance of the marketing organization is invaluable. So what are the functions it performs? Divide and fix authority among the subordinates. Clearly, it demarcates the responsibilities, roles of each and every employee, every worker of the marketing department. So by that, what will be there? The confusion will not be there. Every person will become responsible. Clarity will be created. To establish sales routines, this is one more function generally performed by the marketing organization. To enforce proper supervision of the sales force. So this is one more very, very important function or activity which in general performed by marketing organization. What is that? It provides a supervision, it provides the ideas, it provides suggestions for the sales force for taking up of their activities. So marketing organization avoids repetitive of the duties. So because of which the resource wastage would be there, time waste would be there, which are going to be very effective as far as overall performance of the organization is concerned. So marketing organization enable the top executives to devote more time for planning and policy matters. So when our plan is effective, finally the company is going to reach to the set objectives. So for doing all these things, what is required? The presence of the marketing organization is compulsory. So what is marketing organization? Group of the people with expertise in marketing. I mean to say advertising and sales operations. I mean to say who are having the plans to know the customer about the type of the product, about the price of the product, about the availability of the product. Okay. So what is this? We are studying under 5th unit about marketing organization. The factors in general which are going to affect the marketing organization, internal factors and as well as external factors. In general, internal factors most of the time will be under control, but external factors may not be under control. So under internal factors, the first one is the top management philosophy. The philosophy here means approach. The organizational planning and its working is generally influenced by philosophy which can be good or bad. Example, centralization is decentralization. The philosophy is nothing but approach, the procedure. So GMs, AGMs, these are the persons who actually supervise the entire operations regarding the marketing organization is concerned. The way they take the decisions are going to be very much influential as far as the future of the company is concerned. The best example is in the supervision, implementation of the centralized policy or as decentralized policy. The next one is the product policy. The width of the product line of an organization determine its size as the product offerings becomes increasingly diverse. Example, there could be a need to move away from straight functional approach to product group approach. Always remember that the company now to excel, what is required? Product lines enhancement is always helpful. Like what we called Procter and Gamble, it maintains many more types of the product lines, which actually provides a company to grab the opportunity which exists in the markets. So what do you call this one as a product policy? People. Here people means not the size of the organization. The quality kind of employees with good skills always helps for the success of the company. What do you mean by that? The size of the organization is not an important factor in terms of the number of people, but it is important with respect to human values which are critical and correct decisions regarding people cannot be made unless taking into consideration. So what is that number? Qualifications, capabilities, personality, attitude, fear, suspicion and as well as the ambition. So people are going to be invaluable asset as far as what we call the success of the organization is concerned. Hence, generally we call them as human capital. So previously we learned about the internal factors, now the external factors, the business environment. Physically where actually the business being done explains the business environment. Say the government policies, available resources, the nature of the customers, all these things are going to be effective as far as the company's success is concerned. So what do you mean by the business environment? The type of environment in which the firm is operating in terms of operations and size. The nature of particular requirement for success in a given business, which again determine the size. The rate of change in industries being served, which again decides on its size and working. So environment is going to be much more impactful as far as marketing organization is concerned. Markets. So markets means actually the physical place where actually you are giving services, or else you are providing products to the customers. There one can think of its size, its scope, nature, and as well as the location from the actual production units. So according to here, this is a factor which again affects the marketing organization. What is that? Size, scope, nature, location. So these are all called external factors. So consumer requirements and expectation. This is one more external factor. As you all know that when a company releases the product and satisfies the consumers, consumer starts thinking or expecting much more services from the product. And it's going to be a challenging task to the company every time to satisfy the customer expectations and as well as the needs. The next one is the channels of the distribution. How the product is going to reach to the hands of the customers are known as the channels of the distribution. Sometimes it may be a direct channel through its own sales force, like Eureka Force. Sometimes the companies may adopt indirect channels, like what you call through the wholesalers, retailers kind of channels. So these are the very, very important, external factors which shows impacts on the marketing organization. So what are those? The channels of the distribution, consumer requirements and expectations, markets, business environment. So these are all external factors. And what are internal factors? The people, employees, and the workers, product policy, and as well as the top management philosophy. And we understood about the need for the marketing organization, which helps in clearly demarcation of the roles of the marketing department. So by that, what will be there? The crystal clear vision would be there for every person about their roles and expected results from their performance. So what is a marketing organization? Group of the people who actually frames plans and as well as decision making processes becomes marketing organization. So this is your fifth unit. So before that, what you came to know, we actually discussed about the services marketing strategies. So three variety kinds of strategies. One is managing differentiation and managing service quality and managing productivity. And types of the service markets like institutional markets and as well as the government markets. And this is a very, very important discussion. What is that? The characteristics of the services: intangibility, inseparability, perishability, and the final one, heterogeneity. And also we discussed about what do you mean by service, and mixed type of services. An example is a computer sales and services center, and as well as a hotel where one can have a physical product in terms of a item, and as well as the way the item is being served to the customer by the server. So I'm stopping here. Thank you so much.